Do you know the resources used to make your phones?
Do you know how much energy your phone consumes?
Do you know how many people are affected by your phone?
Do you know how toxic the materials in your phone are?
We are SEPA,
or the Student
Environmental
Protection
Agency.
And we're here to inform you about the dangers smartphones have on the environment.
Smartphones alone consume a minimal amount of energy, but when millions of individuals text, call, or have ample amounts of applications, the energy use increases rapidly. Batteries of these devices, ranging from lithium-ion to cadmium, consume the most energy to allow a variety of actions to be performed on one smartphone alone.
Phones emit radio frequency radiation whether they're in use or not. Because of that, preservationists have started to wonder, does the radiation emitted from phones increase the risk for cancer? Malignant brain tumors and acoustic neuroma are examples of diseases that could possibly be affected. There have also been concerns about e-waste affecting reproductive health in men.
As the usage of smartphones and computers has increased, e-waste has increased alongside them, creating a worldwide pandemic. While the sheer volume of these disposed electronics is not the biggest problem, it is beginning to add up, but leaching and irresponsible recycling are the biggest issues pertaining to this.
The contamination of the biosphere from toxic substances in cell phones leads to many negative impacts on the ecosystem. These can include the increase of pH of soil and water, loss of biodiversity, biomagnification and bioaccumulation of these substances in organisms, and many more. This contamination can be caused at any stage in a cell phone's life cycle, at its production, use, or disposal.
The proposed question, how does the use and disposal of smartphones affect human and environmental health, can be displayed through an experiment using the following steps.
Gather materials such as mason jars, soil, and lithium-ion batteries.
Smash them in a Ziploc bag and place the batteries into soil.
Pour water into both the control and experimental jars and allow them to sit for 1 week.
At the beginning of the week, our soil had a pH of 6 and a biodiversity of 0.1069. According to Simpson's Index, this means our soil is quite diverse.
After smashing 2 lithium-ion batteries and letting them sit for a week, we came back to some interesting results.
While the pH had not changed a noticeable amount, the biodiversity had dropped by over 133%, going from 0.1069 to 0.25.
Even though we only had a week to perform this experiment, the results were significant in showing the environmental impacts of e-waste on the ecosystem.
When electronics are simply thrown into the landfill, they leach into surrounding soils. Toxic metals can then be found in watersheds and ecosystems where they experience biomagnification or the increase in concentration of the metals in organisms. Worse still, when the waste is shipped off to other places, usually third world countries, they are recycled by citizens passing by in hopes of making a small profit from the metals inside the phones. Gold, nickel, cadmium, and other precious metals are extracted through unsafe methods such as breaking them open and bathing them in acid, all of which release toxic materials into the atmosphere and have negative effects on the eyes and respiratory citizens of the citizens breaking the phones open and the surrounding areas.
Cell phones and the disposal of e-waste will cause issues for future populations. The reason, as mentioned before, is because cell phones are not being disposed of properly, which in turn affects men's reproductive health in towns that are filled with e-waste, such as in Winling, China. Winling had a study conducted to see if the rates of diseased semen of the men's reproductive health was higher than compared to a town that is not filled with e-waste. The results concluded that Winling had higher morbidity rates, which means that they will be seeing problems when it comes to reproducing. As for an increase in cancer radiation, no results have been conclusive specifically from e-waste. Effects of the recent boom in technology may go undetected until the millennials are elderly.
From incorrect disposal of cell phones, energy is figuratively lost, as batteries must be remade in order to continue to power the various smartphones. Batteries alone are not losing energy, but the smartphone as a whole. The constant reproduction of phones requires machines, testing, and a variety of additional activities that use hydraulic or coal-powered fuel. Also, while accidentally losing smartphones, energy is required for conservationists to find them that is being taken away. If not found, toxic substances of the phone are prone to leach out into the Earth's natural cycles. These measures can all be prevented through proper disposal of smartphones. All aspects of life are negatively impacted by the toxins that make up cell phones during its production, use, and disposal.
Specifically, different materials that make up smartphones, such as lithium-ion batteries and copper wires, harm ecosystems where their resources are harvested or where they are kept in landfills or dumps. The living world, or the different ecosystems and how organisms react and interact with one another, is greatly impacted by the general pollution that is caused by cell phones. Biodiversity and the increase of pH of soil and water are plausible results of the leaching of lithium-ion batteries when disposed improperly. Death or diversion of fish due to point source pollution of acid mine drainage and groundwater contamination are environmental impacts of mining copper in aquatic ecosystems.
Here are some tips to limit the impact of your smartphone usage.
Try to limit your calls. Calling produces more carbon emissions than texting. Even so, texting and using your phone in general produce carbon emissions, so stay off your phone and reduce our carbon footprint.
Don't use your phone a lot before going to sleep. It can cause sleep deprivation and sleep illnesses due to blue light emission.
Reduce, reuse, and recycle. This doesn't just apply to plastics and paper, but electronics as well. Reduce. Do you really need the newest smartphone with a slightly better camera? Reuse. There are people who are in need who would love to have your iPhone 5 that you aren't going to use anymore, especially in third world and developing countries. Recycle. There are plenty of recycling units, and there is at least one in every county.
Choose phones with smaller